Hey, this is Nathalie Kalbach, and I'm here with my dear friend Riikka Kovasin from Finland. I almost said it in German. I don't know why, because I know her since I am and was in Germany, but we don't communicate in German usually. So Riikka is a wonderful artist and paper crafter and maker from Finland, and she does some amazing stuff. She does wonderful layouts, journal pages. Uh, I have gotten the most amazing cards from her over the years. So every holiday, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. You see some of her artwork in the background. There's some assemblage that she does. Really, really cool. She has been on several design teams, and she lately has just joined Seth Apter's creative team, which is he's in for a treat, that I can tell him. And I think this is your third time for Creative JumpStart. Is that right?
Yeah.
And she also, I let you in on the secret. We call her Speedy Gonzalez because she's always super fast in turning around her work. She does really good work, but she is also quick. But this time she's not the first one.
Yeah. This time I lost it.
You're
Was
still
I
our
the second?
Yeah, you were the second, but you're still
Yay!
our Speedy Gonzalez. So.
Yeah.
Hey, Riikka, how are you?
Hi there. Yeah, I'm good. It's evening here, so additional lighting, so you can see more than just black. Even though I'm into heavy metal, but maybe that's not the good thing for this interview. But otherwise, I'm good.
Well, here's my question though. You're in Finland, and isn't it still light outside at 9 p.m.?
No, not this time of the year.
Oh,
This
so
is
it goes
also
quick.
At the moment, I think the sun sets around 6
Wow.
p.m. But well, during summertime we have daylight throughout the whole day, which is wonderful, especially making videos at that time. But when we reach winter, it's almost like pitch black all the time. So the placement has its drawbacks as well.
That's why you are into metal.
Yeah. And most Finns are into coffee because that keeps our spirits high, but I'm into tea.
That makes total sense because I lived in Hamburg, which is not as far up north as Finland, but is pretty far up north. And so we like coffee, and we like a little bit of harder music as well. So there you go, right? Comes with the territory, I guess.
Yeah.
So Riikka, you I just mentioned before, and I'm happy to mention that again and again so that I get more of those, that you make amazing cards, right? Who do you like to send these most to?
Well, I make quite a few. So nowadays I have an arrangement with a Finnish little web shop that I send a bunch of cards to them occasionally, maybe once, twice a year, because I make so much cards that, or so many that I can't ever send them all away. But um, it's kind of gift giving in a way. I like to send those out, and especially to this shop because then they can sell them or give them or whatever, and they are kind of used in that way. So it's not just stuck in my drawer. But
Well,
I like to send those to our friends, or whenever I'm sending ATCs out, I usually pop a card also in there. Well, depending on the country, because my cards tend to be quite dimensional at times, so maybe the flagger ones go then in.
what
Uh,
intrigues you on that side, on the size to make cards, or is it even the size?
Let me think about that. Maybe it is the size, as nowadays I tend to do a lot less layout as well. So maybe I'm going kind of smaller because I'm doing more art journal pages, which are smaller. Well, I do have a bigger journal as well, but I tend to go with the tinier ones. And yeah, So I'm guessing it is partly the size, but also kind of it's something that has a use.
Mm-hmm.
So even though art journaling is kind of useful naturally because it's pouring yourself into the page or just getting your fingers painty or kind of relaxing, doing that kind of psychological side of things. But within a card, because I use mixed media to those as well, so I can do the same techniques, but I end up with something I can then repurpose or reuse because I can send the card out.
That is such a nice way to think about it, that you're doing two different kinds of outlets, and one is like more maybe beneficial to yourself, and the other one is more something that you give to joy to someone else, which I really like, and I can assure you it is a joy to receive a card from you. So, Riikka, you you did, as I mentioned already, you did send in your gorgeous video. Do you want to give us a little tiny hint of what is it about or what you show us? I mean, I know, but
How to say it, kind of not give it all away. Well, it has a connection to the cards. Let's go that way. And it has a connection to kind of personal stories or documenting. But it's not just my story, but it can be anybody's story. Is that puzzling enough?
Well, should make you curious. So I can say that in the video you are also using a lot of things that you might have around. You like to use a lot of different embellishments. Often either they're either made or they are something that ephemera that you collect from your personal life, or all kinds of stuff. So I know you collect quite a lot. I mean, you're not a hoarder, but you you collect,
yeah,
as we all do. How do you organize these items in your studio, Riikka?
Well, I like to have everything at hand. How do you say it? So I don't have to search too much. So I kind of have, maybe that has to do with Speedy Gonzalez things as well, because they are kind of categorized. I have smaller embellishments, metal embellishments, and bigger ones, and then there's paper ephemera, and then there's plastic things. They all have their kind of own containers. So whenever I have an idea that I want to use that, I know where to get it. But on this same time, I'm actually now also in our living room. I don't have a special craft room as such. So every year, at least once, I go through all the stuff I have. And then, well, my kids' school get a donation of stuff, or then I just throw something away because, well, my whole family knows that if anything gets broken, they turn it to mommy first and say like, do you want it? And usually it's like, yes, give it to me. But if I haven't touched it for a year, then it goes to the bin or recycling, depending on what it is, because I simply don't have the room to store everything.
That is very organized, Riikka.
Yeah, I am. I guess I am organized.
Well, I think you have to, if you want to be able to. I mean, I'm only partly organized. It depends on what part of my life it is. Like, my desk is unfortunately not very organized anymore. And I think I always was very organized when I was a paralegal on my desk. I hated to go into other lawyers or paralegals' rooms, and oh my God, the things I've seen, you don't want to know on how messy it can be with files and stuff. And I'm probably very messy around my my actual creating area, but then I do know where everything, like all my drawers are pretty organized and well kept. So I think you have to, right? Otherwise, you just
Yeah,
don't use the things.
yeah, it's kind of then you are using time to find like that yellow paint or that metal embellishment you want. You have kind of your idea that I want to include it. So naturally you want to use as much of the time you have at hand to actually creating and not looking for stuff. I'm a messy crafter when I do craft because I usually just cut a piece of paper and it lies to the floor or something. But after a couple of projects at least, I tidy everything up and everything has kind of its own place. So when I again start, it's easier to find a stapler, it's there, or that embellishment is there. So I don't have to use time to actually look for things, but it's more like on the go, like this and that and done.
Yeah, that sounds. Do you like organizing furniture, or I mean like the or bins, or do you have like a certain love for bins and storage containers and stuff, or
Somewhat, but I guess my kind of crafty artsy stuff is the most organized. Well, closet, of course, there's different clothes or such, but I can think that I'm that organized in other areas. Well, there's like these imported paper documents there in a place, but well, I don't organize everything. And we do recycle, so there's different like recycling bins, but I'm not sure. Maybe you should ask my husband about that.
so Rika, for this year, the theme, or for Creative JumpStart, our 10th anniversary, the theme is Storyteller, which I chose because I think that's something that connects us all or makes us connect with each other. And I asked you if you could, to use that phrase again, show us something that you love to have around or that sparks joy while you're creating, and tell us a little story about it.
Well, that was a tough question because my first idea was to like show this. This is my tea mug,
It's so cute.
but it doesn't have a story as such, but it's just something kind of when I start creating, and that is my day off then because I work full time. So the first thing I do is to make a pot of tea, and usually I end up sipping the tea mug at 3 times, and then it's cold because I carry on doing something totally different. But as that's not a story as such, it's just a habit. So I actually chose this, which is now hanging. Let me get it off. Hanging in my neck.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of an amulet in a way. I've self-made it. It's a part of Marsha Walk and me used to do this inspired by. And this one was inspired by, I think it was actually amulets, the kind of theme we had. And I have a thing for ravens and crows. So I hand stitched and painted, kind of used mixed media to the crow. And the first time I wore it was in Frankfurt. There's this big craft event. And this kind of was my, how do you say it, lifesaver in a way, or kind of that lifeline in a way that I was really nervous, but everything kind of went well. So ever since I'm doing a demo or doing something scary, I wear this one.
Aww, I love that.
Yeah. So I don't wear this when I'm actually creating at home, usually at all. But when you asked about that special thing, I thought that this is actually special.
That is such a cool thing, and I will tell you a little story later about it. But let me first ask you, what do those crows or ravens represent to you? Why are you? I mean, you also have a feather. right?
Yeah.
Like a dark
Yeah,
feather.
these are from inner tube, like bicycle inner
Hmm.
tube.
Oh, how fun. Oh, they look like feather here. So, but
Yeah, they're cut as feathers. These are both like,
cool. Very cool.
but uh, that's a tough question as well. I don't know. I just like the way they look. Like, um, maybe it's got to do with the Finnish kind of heavy metal black thingy because I'm not drawn into colorful parrots or peacocks, even though they are beautiful and wonderful and the color combinations are really intriguing. But I'm intrigued by crows, ravens, these kind of monochrome birds because there's so many colors when you start to look at them, like the oily
Hmm.
kind of reflections on the feathers. But they have always been, and seagulls, like these birds that you don't usually say, like, what a pretty bird.
Hmm.
So they are my things. So maybe it's got to do with Norse mythology or kind of the Gothic side, perhaps.
Interesting.
I've always liked them.
I
Yeah,
can totally get that, and you can touch it while you're doing something. You know, it's on your
yeah,
skin. There's something comforting of just having that around you or with you, right?
yeah, yeah. You can kind of feel the weight of it, so it's there. And it's well, it was the first big demo I was doing, but before that I was kind of fine, but now it always needs to be this around when I'm doing something scary.
Yeah, I think that's great because I think we do under or maybe we all do it, but I think it's like something that no one really often talks about. But I mean, we all are still nervous. Everyone is nervous at some point.
Yeah,
If you're not, something is wrong with you. No, I'm kidding. But like, right? So there are rituals of things that we do. Some people might have, like, I don't know, maybe place with their keys in their pocket, or like, there's all kinds of ways to kind of like get over that, right? Or to
yeah,
to calm yourself down, or have this kind of lucky whatever.
yeah,
What brings
yeah.
some
Kind
luck?
of a routine you always
Hmm.
do, or then lucky shirt or something.
Exactly. Lucky shirt. My husband has a lucky shirt. He does. I think all men do. Lucky
Probably.
socks and lucky shirts. There it
Yeah.
is. The secret is out. Sorry. Yeah, that's so cool. I'm super excited to have you back on Creative JumpStart. I cannot wait for people to see your wonderful video. It is cool. And where can people find you meanwhile, Riikka, online?
Well, I do have a blog. The Finnish name is Paperiliitin, which means a paperclip in Finnish. And well, it's also my Instagram name. I have a website for my blog. Website, no, Facebook site, sorry. Well, and a Twitter account. I think that's everything. It's a social media. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, yeah, blog. Oh,
Yeah,
YouTube.
and YouTube, right? So also, when you see this on Riikka's social media, she will link up with it. Creative Jumpstart. It's her it's her a personal link. Not it's also a favorite link, but it's a personal link to the sign up page for Creative Jumpstart, which we hope you will sign up for and use that link because that will give Riikka a bigger piece of the pie, and we all can use that nowadays and always actually. But yeah, and check her out, check out her work, follow her, and you're in for a treat. Thank you so much, Riikka.
Thank you for having me.